Okay folks, I think the smartest thing to do, and quite a few of you made this suggestion, was to finish building this car and then worry about re-drilling or changing the height, because we need to make sure that we don't, if we raised it up an inch or 2 inches, inch and a half, and then we started adding, you know, all the parts to it, starter and intake and exhaust and carburetors and alternator, it would just be going back down. So we're good for now. We're not going to do anything else to the front until we're ready. Let me see. I mean, there'll still be welding to do. I've still got welding to do on the bottoms, and I'll take the radius rods back off and finish welding them. And just want to get everything in place first. And like I said, the frame's got to be taken back apart, flipped over and all that. So I think next is maybe start on the rear suspension. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to do a bunch of measuring, and I'm going to actually cut some pieces, and I'm going to put that rear end where I want it to be by welding a piece from the rear end up to the frame on each side. And that'll not only make this a roller, it'll also make it where that rear end will be exactly in place, and then when I build all the suspension on it, it'll be right. And you know, if I can find a cheap set of coilovers, I'll probably run coilovers on the back because I like them. I like them because they're adjustable. If not, you know, we'll run a leaf spring or something. I've got a leaf spring that a buddy of mine brought, Shane, but it's an A-leaf, but the way that I've got this truck set up, it's way too tall. And so we'll have to use something different. So we'll either go with coilovers, transverse leaf, or, I mean, we might even try coils. I don't know. I'm not much for coil springs. I don't know what it is about them, but who knows. Anyway, all right. Got Nana under the car there, trying to stay cool. Let's look at the cucumbers. Okay, cucumbers doing good. Rained last night, so they're definitely growing good. No problems there. There might be a couple of them that don't come up in. I don't know. We got some there. Got them there. Got them there. And there. And there. Here. There's a couple here that's not coming up. I did mess with these, but they're really, really deep. I don't know how I done it so deep. That might be the problem. Is a few of them I might have got the seeds way deep in. I don't know. I'm no good at none of this stuff, but anyway, so far so good. I think we're gonna have plenty. All right. Okay, so we was looking at steering gear boxes. Okay, we got 4 different boxes here, and that box there is the same as the one I used on the 31 Roadster, and it's a reverse box compared to all the other ones. In other words, when you mount it, you can put the arm down, and when you turn right, it pulls back, and that allows your wheels to turn right with the arm down. The other ones, to be able to turn right, you'd have to face the arm up. So it's just a reverse direction box. And it came off of a rear steer Jacobson mower that pulled the 20-foot reels behind it. Had them Perkins diesel engines in it. So that's probably the one we'll end up using. And I've got to get to making a piece for the steering up here. I've got to figure out what we're going to do on our brakes. And rear suspension, like I said, I think I'm going to go ahead and weld a piece up. I got kind of busy. Okay folks, I've basically been working on the lower part of the cow, trying to get some stuff strengthened up here so I can make some mounts. And so I think I'm going to get to making probably the front mounts first, and we're going to cut out some rubber pieces and something, and then we'll go from there. All right. Hey folks, radiator came in. I went ahead and mounted it, and I'm going to tell you why I mounted it. I mounted it as low as I could mount it without having to cut into the cross member like I did on the Roadster. So I can still get a hose on it and everything will be fine. So we got to come up from there to here, which would be not an issue. From here to here, which is not an issue. So it's going to work out just fine. Okay, the reason I wanted to mount it, the reason we have mounted the grill, or the grill shell, is the height of it. I figured we could go as low as we could go with the radiator shell and the radiator, and then we're making the motor mounts, or the cab mounts. I'm in the middle of making cab mounts for the front, so we can go as high as we need to go with the cow and the body to make it match. And it looks like I'm not going to have to go up at all. It looks pretty good where it's at. So it's still going to be up about a 1/4 inch, but you know, it won't make any difference. You know, 1/4 inch for the rubber underneath the cab mounts. So it's moving along. Radiator, it fit. I'm not real happy the way the 32 grill went on a 32 radiator. It's supposed to be a 32 radiator. It went on that. The A cow went on it way better than what this 32 did. It was hard to get on. Didn't quite make it back far enough, but you know, we got to trim them off anyway. But I mean, it's going to look fine. I like the way that we can hook our bars up really easy to the top and bring them back to the firewall when we get the heights right, and that'll stabilize that radiator. Won't have to worry about it moving. Let me see. Somebody, not sure who, there was no name on it, but they sent this from a company, and I don't think it would have been the company. I think it was an individual that ordered this and had it sent to me. A whole box of flapper discs, and I sure needed them too. So I still haven't made it to the to get any oxygen or anything else. So I will eventually get that, but I needed them really bad. I think I was on my, well, I got 2 used flapper discs left, so these come in perfect. So whoever sent the 4.5 inch 7/8 flapper disc, thank you. And anyway, so here is our fan. Okay, so here's our fan, and this drills and rivets directly to the radiator. And I guess this is plastic chrome is what it is. We'll live with it. Maybe we might take it off later and paint it. 4 screws hold that on. But I think it's gonna work fine. It's a big fan, what, 14 inch, 15 inch, like 10 blades or something on it. So I think it will move some air for sure. So, and it came with a thermostat and the switches and everything. All right, okay folks, here we are with the fan. I don't know about that chrome look, but we can live with it, I suppose. Clearance is pretty close, but we're fine. Plenty of room. We're close down at the bottom, but about a 1/4 inch below it, so we're good there. Just getting everything in good and tight. We'll cut these tabs off here eventually. I went ahead and put 1 rod on so I could actually get it exactly where I wanted it, you know, against that. Make sure it stays right where it stays. I don't need to knock it back. So it's pretty good and straight. You know, the lean back looked decent. I just, you know, I didn't want that. I didn't really care for that much anyway, but I mean, they look fine straight up and down to me. So we've got some straightening out to do on these bars, which every new one I bought has been that way. Of course, that's China stuff for you. And I think I'm gonna come up with an alternative. We're gonna quit buying China stuff. Well, we're gonna try very hard to quit buying China stuff. In other words, you know, necessity stuff's one thing. Buying a grill shell just because it's cheap, I'm not gonna do it anymore. I mean, I'll either spend the extra money and get a good one, or that's not made in China, or I just, I'll live without and we'll use a different style. I'm gonna work my way toward there. So anyway, the long headlights. Let me set them up there. Well, there's really not much setting them up there. I can't get them up, you know, any higher than that. Just sitting there. But the long headlight, I think, will be fine with the long engine. So I'll raise it up a little bit, and we may kick the radiator back, lean it back just a little bit. I can't see. It's hard to tell how straight it is with the way that this car's sitting. So I don't know. We'll look at it. Can't get far enough away to get a really good look at it. I mean, it don't look bad, but we don't have the cab done yet. Got to mount it, but it's going to mount about 1/4 inch higher than what it is, maybe a half, and then the back's got to come up a little ways because the back is down somewhere. I slotted it, you know, to move it back. So anyway, I'm going to get the front mounts done first, and then we'll bring the back to where we need it and get them made. So I think the cab mounts is what we're working on next. I haven't decided on the fuel pump yet. You know, Buick, it runs off the cam, so it has to be a fuel pump that can handle the spinning motion. A Chevrolet fuel pump runs off of a rod, so it don't spin, it just pushes on it, so it's not made for the friction. So I would have to take and put the Buick arm onto the Chevrolet pump, and it's doable. I mean, I looked at it good, but I just don't know if I want to do it or not. You know, I'm sure it would hold up, but I'm probably just going to do like I did on the last one, run an electric fuel pump, put a cap on it. I've already run an electric fan, so anyway, and I don't like it much. It may end up painted before it's over with, who knows. So anyway, let's keep at it. It definitely don't look old school, but that'll be okay. We'll deal with it one way or the other. So I think next I bent them brackets up. Them are actually stainless 1/4 inch, and that's what we use for mounts. Figured I'd put them on where they're at on the frame, and then we'll put a piece of rubber between them to get it up off the frame, and that'll be our height, which, you know, whatever the rubber is, 1/4 inch or you know, however thick it ends up being, probably 3/8 I'd say. Maybe smash down to a 1/4 when it's tightened down, but that's going to work. All right, let's get at it. Nenacat's doing what Nenacat does best, sleep. But she's done a few CAT scans today, but she got a surprise in the mail from a subscriber, so we'll put that on the next video. And she sure likes it though, but I think it made her lazy. Okay folks, not sure what I'm using here. Some heavy thick rubber. I'm guessing that's maybe the bottom for a garage door seal. I don't know, somebody else will know for sure, but anyway, that's what I'm using. I'm just cutting it, putting a hole through it, and then we're going to slide it in there and run the bolt down through it. So that'll work. We'll put a small piece on top. So not much, just enough to keep it from rattling on the frame anyway. All right folks, both mounts for the front done. It's looking good. Boy, I hope we don't hit the valve cover when I go to raise the back of it up a little bit. May have to take that. Well, I'm going to have to take that off, but I may have to cut into the firewall just a little bit. Don't know, things are getting tight. We're tight up here, but we're not hitting anywhere. We're good. Anyway, you know, the tighter you make it without issues, you know, the more it looks like you know what you're doing, even if you don't know what you're doing, like me. So it's getting there. It's getting there. Manifold will be here tomorrow. Got the tracking number. It's in Greensboro right now. The intake exhaust. So we're gonna have to do some machine work on it, and possibly some brazing on it. And we'll have to go through some carburetors. I don't know whether we're going to use the ones that's on it or if we're going to use some that I traded for. And I'm going to show you them a little later on and show you where I got them from and how I got them and all that good stuff. And me and another YouTuber have been doing some swapping back and forth and parts. So, and then I'm going to start on this rear suspension tomorrow, and we'll go ahead and try to get what we can done. I've got to order some more Heim joints. I've got 2 of them, but I didn't get Heim. I need Heim joints for the other end of the radius rods. Them 3/8 bolts, well, no, you know, the 3/8 clevises won't work on rear Heim joints because of the twist of the rear end. Not enough shear. You'll shear them off and twist the rear end up. So we don't want to do that. But we do want to do that style suspension, or that style bars. And we're going to do either coilovers, leaf spring, or coil spring when it comes to suspension, but we want to have look just like these ones, but on the back coming forward, and that'll help take up that hole right there that you see and make it look better. And we can still build a cover for it if it don't look, you know, as good as I want it to look. It won't be long. Like I said, we'll be, once we get everything, you know, mocked together and put together, we'll be taking it all back apart. We'll clean it up, paint everything, put it all back together for a final assembly. And I'm debating, I may probably do the bodywork and paint on this cab. I'm going to do it myself, and we're not going to be so particular, so it's just going to get done and get painted. So that's the plan anyway. Unless it changes, that's the plan. But you know, I've still got a lot to do. There's a lot of fabrication on this body to do. There's a lot of sheet metal work to make. Windshield posts. We're gonna have to do another windshield design and then have another one cut just like that last one. We're probably gonna, instead of just capping it on each end and leaving it open at the top, we'll just make a full cap that goes across and put it on. And then I just like that style windshield. And then you can lean it back all you want or forward. And it's a Roadster, so I don't need it to open or anything. That's not a big issue. Plenty of air and wind anyway. So, and I think that's about it. I've sort of got some collars picked out in my head of what I want to do. So we'll see how that works out. We'll get the engine out, do the rear seal, get it sealed up like I want it. We're going to paint the engine. I'm thinking about a tan color, and I am debating, and I'll let you all think what you want to about this. And matter of fact, it may make a lot of people complain, and I like making people complain sometimes. So I may end up doing the valve cover and the lifter cover in dog crap burl, and the engine in light, like that light tan color, that con looking brown. And then like I said, I might just do the valve cover and that side panel just for the heck of it, because I want to. And then you know, people can think what they want, don't really matter. And then we'll you know, do the cab and stuff in a color that I've got in my head picked out. Will be a cheap way of painting. And so we'll see. Well, that's about perfect. Raise the back of the cab up. So, no problems there. Looks good. Engine looks level, even though it is tilted back some. And like I said, we'll work with the carburetors. Sheet of spacer, whatever we need to do on an angle. So, body's up where it needs to be. I like it. I think it's going to come out really well. So, tomorrow will be between cab mounts and rear suspension. We'll work on a little both of it and see what we can get done. But so far, everything's going good. I appreciate everybody watching. And until next time, bye. Going good. Won't be long, we'll be putting them in the ground, hopefully by a fence.